Hey, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, my name is Christina Carpenter. Today, I wanted to talk about our connection with God and how it all plays out. Um, I did not go to theology school, but I grew up in a Christian home where we did Bible study together. We went to church every Sunday. I was a church girl. I also did Sunday school classes. I taught Sunday school classes. My mom was a Sunday school teacher. My dad was a Bible study teacher. So my upbringing is pretty religious. And that's where I started. My first book is actually a Christian book. It's a spiritual devotional. And so my connection to religion and spirituality is pretty much the foundation of how I grew up and how I learned to cope. Some families, they cope differently. Some people have unhealthy coping mechanisms, and some people have healthy coping mechanisms. So unhealthy would be alcohol, drugs, gangs, violence. Those are not healthy things. And so my upbringing, I learned prayer and church and prayer circles and Bible study on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So that was our way of dealing with things. And I do appreciate my upbringing. I do appreciate how it's raised me to be a person who acknowledges, God and in my life. And that's what my book is about. My first book is about God and life. And, even who you are, if you add God to it, God could make you better. Like if David was a small boy, but with God, he could defeat a giant, or Paul was who was Saul first. He was Saul, and then God transformed him on the way to Damascus. He became Paul. And then he wrote all these different epistles in the Bible. And so, God can make things better, just like he turns water into wine. It's the same difference. So God could transform things, and that's the cool thing that I like to acknowledge and what I want to talk about. And so I just have two testimonies. And like I was saying, what is a testimony? A testimony is a story. I didn't realize people don't know what a testimony means. Not everybody knows that lingo. That's a church thing to talk about testimony. And a testimony is just your story. It's a personal story of how God worked something out for you, whether it's getting you a job, whether it's um, making something happen that could have not happened. It's like a miracle, possibly. And then maybe not even a big miracle. It's just be something that you prayed for, or something that just worked out in your favor. And that's what a testimony is. And so there was one situation in my life where I had a car, and it's the little things. Like you could be praying for something and God just makes things happen, and that's the cool thing about prayer. It's like you don't know how it's going to happen, but it happens. And so I was having trouble, but the thing is, it all starts with me. I did not understand my car. I'm not a car person, but I owned a car, and it's funny how you can own a car but not understand how the car works. And so I had a car that I wasn't driving a lot, and at the time I was told that because you don't drive it enough, you have to do this whole driving test to get it ready. And I was supposed to get the car ready so they could pass the test and continue to have the test. There's a certain test. I haven't had a car in a minute, so I don't remember what the test is, but every year there's a test that you have to pass. And I believe my battery would always die right before the test, and then I'd have to drive the car to get the battery and all these things to be ready, or whatever the case may be. So it was always a situation with the car. And one time I just couldn't seem to figure it out, and nobody else seemed to be able to help me, or they were unwilling to help me. And God worked it out where I actually went to church and I actually had a prayer put in for my car. I was like, I don't know what's going on with my car. I'm really at a loss. I'm at a loss here. I don't know any men that could tell me what to do. So I was like, what to do? And God worked it out because like not even the next day, somehow the situation got fixed. I think I found out that you could take the car to be ran, like you could take it where they drive the car for you, And I found out the dealership drives the car for you, and you just pay them like $100 and they'll drive the car. But it's not like out literally driving on a street. It's something where they could run the motor or run the engine or something like that, and then it will get the car ready, and then it does the test for you, and it costs like extra $100. And I learned that, I was like, oh my goodness, all this time. So that was an answered prayer. And so that was one thing. And then another thing, this was years ago. This was something I didn't even pray about this. This was in high school. So I was in high school, and I was in a area where I thought the area was good. You know, I thought we were in a safe area. But of course, every school is different. You think your school is safe, and then things happen in your school and you're like, what is going on? But at the time, I believe we were going home, and it was the end of the day. And I specifically remember feeling a prompting in my spirit to go a different direction than I usually go. I usually walk one side to go home, to take a bus home. And something told me to just go the other way. And I just decided to listen. And I did listen, and thank God I listened, because as soon as started walking the other way, like only like 5 minutes later, there was shooting on the other side. And I was like, what? And I heard people screaming, running, and I was like, thank God I was walking the other way, and I saw people running, and I was like, something, like they had a shootout like outside my school. And when I was in high school, like near the bus stop or something. And I was like, oh wow. So thank God, like God protected me in that situation, because he gave me the inkling to just take a different route home. And that was God. And I know that it was God like protecting me. And I think it's the little things like that, like listening to God and being able to hear when he gives you promptings for things to do certain things, that it helps to, live in life a little safer, to know, when he's telling you to do something, just do it. And so that's the cool thing about God. And I think staying close to God and spirituality, reading his word, reading the Bible, and staying sensitive to the spirit is helpful. So I think that's what I want to say. I just want to share that testimony. If it's helpful for you, hopefully it's helpful. But that's just something that happened in my life. Things happen all the time in schools, and it's just crazy. But when God protects you, it's an awesome thing. So, it's always good to pray God's protection in every situation, so that when things come up, like you don't have to be there for anything. Like let God take care of it. And yeah, just let God take care of it and protect us. And it's cool, like when you hear stories of, like, even with 9/11, like people like felt like they should stay home that day and they didn't go. But even so, sometimes you don't know when it's your last day. And even if you were in the place where something bad happened, like only God is in control. So, you can't really control, the bad things that happen, but just you know, it's not going to be easy. Like there's going to be times where people are going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you just pray through it and get through it with God. And that's the only way you can get through things, is with God, because he makes it easier to get through. So even if you are going through a bad or hard time, leaning on God and just going to church, getting prayer really helps things tremendously whenever it's really hard to go through something. So I think just prayer is the key. Prayer is the answer to everything. So that's all I have to say, and I'll talk to you on another video.